Was there any reaching out to the survivors of 9/11 or the 9/11 victims' families or anything like that that you're aware of in light of this?
You know what? There has been. I have not been contacted, as a survivor per se, but I know that those that lost loved ones, there's incredible networks that were set up to help these people, to help these families. Incredible, people donated large sums of money to help with funeral costs and all these things for these poor families that lost their moms, their dads, their sons, their brothers, kids. So I think that needs to continue to happen. We've got to protect these people and protect our own. I've had a nice network within my company. My company, Morgan Stanley, has been incredible through this whole process, and I just celebrated my 10-year anniversary with the firm, and I've got a lot of emails and congratulatory notes of, you made it out of the World Trade Center, you're still in the company doing well, and so that keeps me going, is that support system that I have with Morgan Stanley and with those that I run into, our police, our fire, all of those that did so much to help me that day.
Has it become a mission for you to talk about this and let people know?
It has. I feel like I need to tell a more positive side about 9/11, as funny as that may seem. We all know the tragedy. We all know what happened that day. But I focus immediately on the police and fire, the rescue workers, those that gave up their lives.
The heroes.
The heroes from 9/11. And they were true heroes. I mean, my nephew Terrence, who is now in the Glendale Fire Department, he brought me a shirt from New York, from one of his friends from the Glendale battalion went out to New York and brought back a shirt that has 343 on it. And that's the firefighters that died, 343.
Wow.
And you think that that number is so large,
Yeah.
and all of those men and women went to help people and lost their lives in the process. So I try to tell everyone that, when you see even our local firefighters and police officers, and especially our armed forces, our men and women that serve us, just say thank you.
Yeah.
And that can go such a long way to tell someone, you know what, you're serving us and we appreciate it.
Well, that's a great message, I think. Sometimes in traumatic situations like this, there's something called survivor's guilt, and I'm sure you talk about this all the time. Did you think you had something like that? Or were you able to see it for what it was and just be glad that you made it?
I think initially there was that questioning of how come that plane didn't come down 20 more floors and I wouldn't be here.
Did you keep seeing it, like, over and over?
Because it was my second day, I'll never forget when I went back to New York to Ground Zero for the first time. It was 2006, and I went down with my wife at the time, and was just in shock when I saw the hole, the crater. That now that it's now that we've started to rebuild. But I felt this overwhelming sense of, wow, it was not my time, and I need to make the most of each day because I got a second chance. Right. And I look at my kids, I look at my wife, and think, there was a reason why I wasn't my time, and I need to make the most of it.
Have you gotten upset or angry to see the slow progress in building, in rebuilding, and with the whole mosque controversy? I mean, has that upset you at all?
I have to say, I mean, my feeling about the rebuilding of Ground Zero is they need to do both, a memorial and rebuild those towers. And, not the exact replica of what was there, even though those towers were amazing and beautiful. But, let's rebuild. Let's show the world that we're back. We honor the dead, of course, but we also rebuild. We get back to work, and this is our country. We get knocked down and we stand right back up. In terms of the mosque, I think that, that was a situation where it's still such a sensitive area, such a sensitive topic, and I think anything like that needs to have compromise. And if you get everyone together and compromise, some good can come from that. You're not going to get all that you want, but if we can compromise, everybody's going to be much better for it.
All right. Well, we talked about the heroes. We talked about what happened that day. I'm wondering if you talk to your kids about this, and what do you say to them?
Sure. You know, my kids are young, 2.5 and 5 months.
So they probably don't really understand.
They don't really understand, but I was shocked that my son Luke, last night as President Obama spoke, he said, "President Obama," so he knows the president, and he was watching him, and I think he realized, as I was and my wife Elena was, as we were fixated on the TV, that this was a big deal. And the fact that when we were at the restaurant, we quickly finished up and went home to see the president speak. He's a very smart boy. You know, I joke that he gets the brains from his mom, but you know, he very intuitively, you know, certainly knew that this was a big deal.
Yeah.
And today it was incredible, because he asked me, you know, "Daddy, Bin Laden," and I just, you know, I said, you know, Bin Laden's gone, and I think he kind of gets it now that
At
this
2.5.
was at 2.5.
Isn't that amazing?
That
Isn't that amazing?
something happened,
Yeah.
and we're better for it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great that he has his dad
That's
to be
right.
able to talk to him about this and share the lessons with him.
Thank you.
And your other son as well.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time, Kevin. I really
Absolutely.
appreciate it. It's fascinating to hear that story. I think our hearts just all went out with the people that were in those towers, the survivors, the heroes, and I think our hearts are with you as well as you're looking at this momentous occasion in the death of Osama Bin Laden.
Yes.
So thank you very much for talking.
Thank you for having me. It was great to be here.
All right. Well, that is it for this edition of CCN Game Changers. Thanks so much to Kevin Danni, a 9/11 survivor who shared his story with us, for being our guest here and doing such a great interview with me. Thanks to the crew who worked on this program, and thank you for watching CCN Game Changers. Can't wait to see you here again for CCN Game Changers. Take care.